This podcast is made possible by the listener members of Nashville Public Radio.
It's Friday, December 27th. I'm Marianna Bacallao, and you're listening to a special holiday edition of the Nashvillager podcast from Nashville Public Radio, WPLN News. This election, Tennessee voters overwhelmingly supported the GOP, putting Donald Trump back in the White House for another 4 years and keeping Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn in Washington for another 6. But that's not all voters did. In both the general and the primary elections for the statehouse, there have been some shakeups, with more than a few incumbents losing to political newcomers. Nearly a dozen freshman lawmakers have taken the oath of office and will start their first term in January. You'll hear from those fresh faces in the new year. For now, we're going to take a look back at 2 lawmakers who have become established names in Tennessee politics and what they do when the State House is not in session. First, we'll hear from Harold Love Jr., who's coming back to the Tennessee House for the 13th time. Former WPLN political reporter Blaze Gainey sat down with Love to talk about the work he's done continuing his father's legacy.
Harold Love Sr.'s political career began in 1961 with his election to Nashville City Council and eventually ended in the same role his son now plays in the General Assembly. Harold Love Jr. was born in 1972, fully immersed in this world of politics.
By the time I'm 5-6 years old, my father's good enough in his journey, right? And I mean good enough in the sense of he's not a freshman legislator, but he's good enough in his journey to know how things work and to understand the processes.
Love's dedication to politics began in the summers he spent campaigning and advocating for his father's reelection.
Every 2 years out there knocking doors, asking folks to vote for my father.
Love grew up in a family home on Buchanan Street where he, his 4 sisters, mother, and father all had to share one bathroom. Even as his parents became more established in their careers, they made sure to raise Love and his sisters to not forget about where they came from.
And by that I mean that we cannot sit by and say we've achieved our level of success and we're going to forget about those who are not in the same situation.
Balancing fun and responsibility was a lesson learned early.
It was a fun atmosphere. Played basketball at the house, right? Had a pinball machine in the house, right? So that was fun, but it was understood that you cannot jeopardize what has to be done for the sake of having fun.
Love saw that play out in real life while studying at Tennessee State University.
Well, junior year, my grades dropped after being initiated into the Omega Psi Phi fraternity incorporated. It was my own fault. Grades dropped, lost my scholarship. Mother said, "You're moving back home. You're going to stay home. You're going to take an overload, and you are going to not march this fall."
Being at home, Love got his grades back in great shape and graduated in 1994 with the rest of his freshman class. Love said while his father was his main inspiration, he gained broader perspective during Black Caucus retreats. These highlighted the challenges faced by African American legislators in the past, a history that added depth to Love's commitment to his community. Love was elected to the House in 2012 after multiple failed runs for office. Once he was sworn in, House Speaker Beth Harwell approached him.
Speaker Harwell says to me, "You know, your father treated me great, better than any other Democrat when we were in the minority and they were in the majority. If there's anything I can do to help you, let me know."
Love already had a request ready. He wanted to get his father's old number for his office. The wish was ultimately granted. Blaze Gainey, WPLN News.
William Lamberth, a Republican from Portland, is also about to start his 13th year in the State House. In this 2023 interview with Blaze, Lamberth talked about his life outside of being the House Majority Leader.
Walking into Cordell Hall for the interview, I was looking forward to sitting down with Representative William Lamberth, but also a little let down because I wasn't traveling to Sumner County to visit what he calls his zoo.
We have 50-something chickens and 4 peacocks and a duck and 4 rabbits and a dog and 4 cats, 3 of which are outside, okay, 1 of which inside. That's my daughter's pampered cat, the one inside. We also have 2 guinea pigs, a hedgehog, and a ferret.
Wow, that's a lot. So what's with his infatuation with animals?
That's always been a part of kind of my life. We were hog farmers, and so it'd be weird if we didn't have animals kind of running all over the place.
Not all of his family had pigs, but all had farms.
I had family members that had tobacco farms and row crops and other type of farms.
That was essentially Lamberth's life growing up for the most part, hopping from farm to farm, helping his family out with whatever the day's tasks were. He of course went to school, but like most of his family, he didn't have any great ambitions to leave farming.
It just wasn't something we did. We're primarily farmers and small business owners. You work, you make a living, you take care of your community and your family, and you try to be a benefit to your community, not a burden.
It wasn't until his senior year, when he took a trip to the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, that he decided to become the first in his family to attend college.
I thought, wow, these people are not that different from me. College is not something that's unobtainable.
So he applied for scholarships, got help from his parents, and worked a lot.
I worked at Outback Steakhouse. I worked at Red Lobster, just worked at different restaurants and stuff. And so I just worked my way through school.
Lamberth studied political science while at UT, and after graduating, went on to law school. And
one of the reasons why was that Ray Whitley, who's the district attorney in Sumner County to this day, had prosecuted the man who had struck and killed my Aunt Lola.
Lamberth's aunt was hit by a drunk driver and killed when he was 2 years old.
I thought, boy, that sounds like something great to be able to help people through like a horrible circumstance, keep your community safe. So I thought, well, look, I'm going to look into law school.
Once he graduated from William and Mary Law School, Lamberth went to work for U.S. District Attorney General Ray Whitley. After several years, Lamberth was approached by the Republican Party chairman who suggested he run for state office. Of course, like any smart spouse, he asked his wife what he should do.
The moment I told her, hey, they'd like me to run for state representative, my wife's reaction was, well, yeah, of course you should.
He won that election in 2012 and ever since has been representing the Sumner County area in District 44, and rather successfully. Since being elected, no Republican has run against him. Lamberth became majority leader in 2019. He likens the position he now plays in the General Assembly to a quarterback on the football field.
It's helping call the plays. It's helping get the ball out to guys that are making plays. I mean, it is kind of the axis around which a lot of other things happen, but it's not necessarily, happening because of me.
Every now and then, though, Lamberth does run out of the pocket and create plays himself. During his time as majority leader, he sponsored the Truth in Sentencing bill, which eliminates early release for most violent crimes, and another that bans gender-affirming care for minors. Blaze Gainey, WPLN News.
Thanks so much for listening, and happy holidays. Next week, we'll be back in your feed with more special episodes. We are so grateful to you for becoming Nashvillager listeners this year and hope to see you again as we march into 2025.